Chapter 4, It's Everywhere. The room smelled of antiseptic, metallic, and clean, but Licole didn't notice. She couldn't. Her body felt like it belonged to someone else. Wires ran from her arms and chest, IVs feeding medicine into veins that throbbed beneath the skin, monitors blinking and beeping as if counting down her life. Machines hummed steadily, relentless, rhythmic, the only pulse that felt reliable in the chaos. Her mom sat beside her bed, head resting on her shoulder, hands clinging to Licole's fingers like anchors. She had been there since the ride, since the seizure that had ripped through their kitchen, and she had not moved, not once. Her whispered prayers, soft and constant, layered over the mechanical sounds. Stay with me, baby. Fight, don't leave me. A doctor pulled her mom aside again. Her tone was tight, serious, urgent. Licole's levels are extreme. We're talking saturation. Her blood, her organs, her bones, it's everywhere. Not just in one spot, not just a recent exposure. This has been building silently for months. Her mom's stomach lurched. Everywhere? Every part of her? Yes. The doctor's eyes were sharp. It's in her bones, stored like a reservoir. Her organs are absorbing it. Her intestines, kidneys, liver, the brain is at risk. Time is critical. The words landed like bricks, heavy and impossible. Her mom's hand tightened over Licole's. She couldn't breathe, couldn't move, couldn't make sense of what she was hearing. How didn't we notice? She whispered, voice breaking. You may not have, the doctor said gently. Lead poisoning is insidious. Early symptoms are subtle. Headaches, fatigue, irritability, cognitive changes. Over time, it builds until it becomes critical. Unfortunately, she's already showing neurological involvement. That's why the seizures were so severe. Inside, Licole's consciousness floated between awareness and sedation. She could feel everything: the cold bed, the tight straps, the IVs in her arms, the constant rhythm of machines. Her chest felt constricted. Her skull throbbed. And underneath it all, a low, gnawing panic, an understanding she couldn't voice, that her body had been compromised for months, slowly poisoned from the inside out. Her mom leaned closer, pressing her forehead against Licole's. I didn't know. I didn't see it. I didn't. Shh, the doctor said softly. Now isn't about blame. Now is about action. Action. The word felt hollow. What action could fix months of accumulation? What could undo the invisible infiltration that had crept into her bones and brain? The monitors continued their relentless watch. Beep, pause, beep. Each tone a reminder of the fragility of life, the precarious edge they were standing on. Her brain is swelling, another nurse said. Pressure is increasing. If we don't act immediately, she could have permanent damage. Her mom's hands trembled. Permanent? Yes. That's why we need chelation therapy and possibly sedation. We have to protect her brain first. The magnitude of it pressed down on Licole's mind, even as her body twitched involuntarily. It was everywhere, every organ, every bone, every vessel. Her body had been compromised so completely, so silently, that it felt like betrayal. But worse, it was uncontrollable. And the thought of the brain, her consciousness, her sense of self under siege, that was terrifying. The doctor explained the process, carefully, step by step. Blood tests, scans, chelation therapy, sedation, ventilation if needed. Her mom listened, nodding, tears falling silently, one hand never leaving Licole's. Every step felt clinical, precise, necessary, but in her mind it was violence. Violence against the disease, against the poison, against the body she had watched transform into a battlefield. Machines beeped in accompaniment. IVs dripped relentlessly. Oxygen moved mechanically over Licole's face. And through it all, her mom whispered, sometimes barely audible, sometimes louder, fight, baby. Stay. Don't give up. Mommy loves you. Somewhere inside, Licole's mind clung to that voice. It was a thread, thin but real, tying her to herself, tethering her to life even as her body betrayed her. A flicker of awareness, a fragile spark, a thread of hope. Time is critical, the doctor repeated, almost to herself. Her brain can only tolerate so much pressure. We act now, or we risk permanent damage. Everything else is secondary. Her mom nodded mutely. She couldn't argue. She couldn't stop it. She could only be there, hand holding hand, whispering, willing her daughter to survive this invisible invasion. Licole's body twitched again, and the monitors recorded each irregular beat, each struggle, each small movement of life that refused to surrender. Beep, pause, beep. The rhythm had been terrifying in the past, a signal of danger. Now it was the pulse of fight, the reminder that she was still here, still tethered, still reaching for the voice that refused to leave her side. The enormity of it hit her mom fully. This wasn't a moment. It wasn't an incident. It was an invasion. Every cell of Licole's body had been touched, altered, compromised. And yet, despite the invisible siege, despite the saturation of poison, despite the body that would not obey, her daughter was still tethered to her, still reaching, still fighting, even if she didn't know it. The hospital was clinical, precise, full of machines and professionals and procedures. But for Licole and her mom, it was chaos, terror, and heartbreak, all condensed into the sterile glow of fluorescent lights. Every IV drip, every beep, every movement of the monitors whispered the same thing. Time was critical. Every second counted. Every breath mattered. And the poison was everywhere, relentless, insidious, and waiting. Somewhere beneath the beeps, beneath the spasms, beneath the weight of the diagnosis, Licole felt it. A thread of awareness, a recognition of the voice that never stopped calling her, whispering her back into existence. She couldn't respond yet, couldn't even form a thought that made sense. But somewhere, deep inside, the first spark of fight had begun.